Welcome to Unifying Youth Throw Sports. I'm Nick Subetta, and I am here with Chris Hopkins, the Director of Programs for the Special Olympics of Rhode Island. Welcome, Chris.
It's my pleasure, Nick. Good to be here.
All right. So do you mind giving me an overview about the Unified Champion Schools of Rhode Island?
Sure. We're just finishing up year 11 of the program. The program has grown tremendously in the past 10 years, much more than I ever anticipated. We now have 38 high schools participating in the program, which is every high school that offers opportunities for people with intellectual disabilities in their schools. So we have 38 high schools, we have 37 middle schools, and we have 41 elementary schools that are now participating in the program. And the one thing about the program that we found is using sports, we've been able to create this incredible program within the schools where students with intellectual disabilities are now being accepted and respected as part of their school culture. It's really becoming, the Unified Champion Schools program is really becoming part of the school culture in all levels, from elementary to middle, right through the high schools. And the one thing that we're really trying to do as a movement is really trying to create a seamless transition from the elementary school program. So in the elementary school programs, we're just trying to find out how we can create that inclusion in the schools, how we can bring that children in the elementary schools with and without disabilities together. And what we try to do is find out what's good for the school. It could be a field day, it could be an after-school activity, it could be something that they participate in, like a PE class. And what we do is we leave that up to the elementary schools to make that determination as to how they want to create that inclusion in their school community. And then the hope is in the middle schools is that through sports we try to really create the inclusion with students in that middle school level. And the goal there is to make sure that students with and without disabilities create the friendship in the school. They feel like they're accepted as part of the school community, and we do that through sports. It's the students that are going into the lunchroom. They now feel like they're accepted. They're part of their schools. Things that typical teenagers or middle school kids may not think about, but everybody wants to feel like they're part of their school culture. And through the Unified Sports program, especially at the middle school level, kids are now bridging that gap. And it's providing more opportunities for those students, both with and without disabilities. Friendships are being developed at the middle school level. And then the next step is the high school level, which is where we started the program 10 years ago. We've gone from, in year one we had 10 schools, and now we're at 38. So we've taken a lot of strides within the program. The goal really is to provide that seamless transition from elementary to middle to the high school program, and really to focus in on what's going on in the schools and how do we create that seamless transition with students with and without disabilities.
Thank you for that. By any chance, if you don't mind me asking, so what made you want to be a part of the Special Olympics and be involved with all the athletes?
It's as part of the Unified Champion Schools movement. Early in my career, we had a cross-country program, a special Olympics cross-country program, and I always felt that the high schools were not part of our movement years ago. And when we developed this cross-country program, we invited high schools to come and be part of our organization. We were always accepted into with the high school community as far as like our athletes competing at like Brown University and all these different events throughout the state, but they were the high school events. And what we decided to do was to bring the community, their community, to us through cross-country running. And we had an event that was sponsored by the city of Warwick, and on Saturday night we would have this big dance and welcome athletes from across the country, New Jersey, Delaware, Massachusetts, Connecticut. They would come to Rhode Island and compete in cross-country running. And on Saturday night, we would have this big dinner dance. And it was pretty incredible to see our athletes connect with the students in the high schools. So we had that experience, you know, and when it was in a social setting, it was a pretty nice setting, to be honest with you. It was you know, like a dinner dance at a local hotel. It was the Radisson Hotel in Warwick. So we had that experience. And then in Providence, we had what we called, through a Mega Cities grant, we had a program right in the middle schools. There were 6 middle schools that had this Unified Champion Schools program, and the 6 schools got together, and they would travel from school to school and play games. And we had a higher ability team, lower ability team, so they would play. So we had experience working with students at the middle school level and the high school level. And then once the Rhode Island Scholastic League and Tom Mezzanotte brought it to the table, and, you know, why don't we collaborate and develop this partnership? It was an easy sell, and we knew that we had that experience. At the adult level with Unified Sports, we felt really strongly that at the adult level that Unified Sports was where the movement was going, in particular here with Special Olympics Rhode Island. So it was an easy transition for us to take that next step and develop the partnership. And here we are 10 years later, 38 high schools, 37 middle schools, and 41 elementary schools.
That's impressive. So aside from the Unified Champion Schools program, aside from the high school and the middle schools gathering together to do the games, also there are other special events that go on throughout the state of Rhode Island. So more recently, I believe it was about maybe a month ago or so, give or take, it was the plunge over at Salty Brine Beach in Narragansett. Do you have any thoughts about the event, on how that how important that brings people together?
Yeah, I see that growing tremendously in the future, and we had it started out as a small event down at Goddard Park, and now it's grown tremendously. This past years, we had a record number of high school students. And I think what's happening in the schools is there's through using sports as that conduit of providing sports in the schools, that students are coming together, students with or without disabilities, and they're challenging each other. And it's that event has grown tremendously, as I mentioned, and I see it has a lot of potential in the future. And the one thing that's important with the plunge is that we have a 50-50 split. Schools that raise money, 50% goes back to the schools. And what we're hoping is that the schools take that funding and have some type of activities in their schools outside of the sports program. And that will help bring the students together, not only on the court, but in the classroom.
Okay, I like that. So overall, to kind of wrap up a little bit here, so how would you say that the Unified Champion Schools program can improve throughout the next 10 or 11 years for Special Olympics Rhode Island?
I see it improving really at the elementary school level. I think that there's a lot of opportunity at the elementary school level. And the goal here is to create that seamless transition from the Young Athletes program, which is like pre-K school in schools, to elementary schools, to middle schools, right up through it. We want there to be a seamless transition. So when kids leave elementary schools and they go on to middle schools, they have expectations that their school is going to be fully inclusive. And I see high schools, all the schools really, being what I call 180-day a fully inclusive school, where it's expected of their schools to be part of the unified movement, and that they become an inclusive school, and everybody is treated as an equal in their school community. So,
Nice to hear. All right. Well, thank you again, Chris, for
You're
this
welcome.
time.
Hi, my name is Wesley De La Rosa, and joining us now is Allison Cazmier and teacher Adam Scott from Cole Middle School in East Greenwich. So first off, congratulations on becoming a National Banner Unified Champion School. That's really exciting. So what does that mean to you and your school?
It's just a tremendous honor for us. Because really, when you think about it, there's close to 7,000 middle schools and high schools across the nation that have unified sports programs. And of those almost 7,000 schools, there's only been 221 that have been named Unified Champion Schools, National Banner Schools. Of those 221, only 8 of those schools are from Rhode Island. We break it down a little bit more. Cole Middle School is the first and only Rhode Island middle school ever to be named a Special Olympics, Unified Champion Schools, National Banner School. And even on top of that, another tremendous honor that we had, of those almost 7,000 high schools and middle schools that have unified sports programs, we were named to the inaugural 2018 ESPN National Honor Roll. Only 30 schools across the nation were named to ESPN's honor roll. We are the only school in Rhode Island, be it high school or middle school, to earn that tremendous honor. So it really means so much to us, not only at Cole, but not only in our town of East Greenwich, but also in the state, that we can really show the world what is happening in the tremendous work that's happening here in Rhode Island with the work that we're doing with Special Olympics athletes.
That's amazing. That's proof that Rhode Island's the smallest state, but with the biggest heart. So Allison, what does that inclusion mean to you?
So for me, inclusion means that everyone feels respected and valued for who they are, and it's just an aspect that should be included in everyone's daily life as well.
That's awesome. So what unified sports are offered at Cole Middle School?
So at Cole, we're fortunate to have 2. We have unified basketball, and we're in our second year of unified cross country.
That's awesome. Which one do you prefer?
I like unified basketball.
Not a fan of running? No.
No.
All right. So, Adam, how is your school involved with the inclusive youth leadership and the whole school engagement?
It's become such a part of our culture. So it's not something that we really think about day to day. It's not like we're like, hey, this month is going to be Inclusion Month, or this week is going to be Inclusion Week. It's something that we have completely changed the culture of Cole Middle School with. So this is an everyday thing. I know it's been talked about that this should be a 180-day revolution. That's definitely something that we have. This is every single day that close to 650 students walk into my building, that we are a fully included school, be it on the sports fields, be it in our student council, our plays, our chorus program, in the lunchroom. The lunchroom can be a very difficult place for many students that deal with social anxiety issues, but we have set up things. We have friendship tables that are set up, so no student ever feels that they are alone. So it's really from the moment that the students walk into our building until they decide to go home at the end of the day, right at dismissal, or if it would be because of a sports program that we're doing or any other inclusive club. We are a fully inclusive school. And throughout the entire day, we are promoting acceptance, respect, friendship, inclusion, unity. So that's something that we're doing throughout the day.
Sounds exciting and engaging.
It's
That's awesome.
It's a wonderful place, and it really is. You notice it when you come in. You see it in the hallways. You see the high fives that all kids are giving to one another. You see somebody like Allie, who's been tremendous leader in our school, both in our Best Buddies programs and also in our Special Olympics, our Unified Champion Schools program. And at such a young age, somebody like Allie, how she is helping to lead this revolution and to be the agents of change. Her generation is the generation of change. And she's been such a tremendous leader in our school. And it's just been, for me, it's been fairly easy because I just kind of point my students in the right direction, and they're the ones that are changing the world.
That's amazing. It sounds more like a community rather than a school.
It is.
That's amazing. So, Allison, tell me about how your school is involved with fundraising for the Unified Champion School programs.
Well, for that, we do some fundraisers, but the main thing that we like to do is make sure that everyone hears about the sports programs and we make sure that everyone gets involved with that. More of the fundraising is for when you're in high school, when everyone already knows about the team and wants to support that team. What we're trying to do now is get those supporters of the team.
Yeah, and also Allie alluded to this, but other things that we do is whenever we're doing any of our field trips to bring everybody together, those are some mini fundraisers that we have. Our programs are fully supported by our athletic department, so it's not really a case that we have to do fundraising in order to run our sports. My athletic director oversees both all of our middle school sports and also all of our high school sports, so that's a tremendous resource that he gives to us. But things that we do, if we run a field trip, that is a little bit of fundraising that we have. The other thing, Allie spent an awful lot of time this past summer. East Greenwich once a month has Main Street strolls, where they shut down Main Street to traffic, and it's basically a block party. And she has spent so much of her time, we man a table on one of the street corners, and it's to talk about the work that we're doing at Cole, and to talk about the work that we're doing with our unified sports programs. And it's been a tremendous, we've received a tremendous amount of support from our community, where businesses, all of a sudden when we get a letter in my mailbox at school, and it's a business that has sent us a donation just to help us to run our programs. So once again, you talk about it's not just the school, it's the community. Well, it's not just in our buildings, in our building at Cole, but it's also in our town. And it's a town that we love so much. It's a town that we try to show to the world that we are really promoting inclusion, we're really promoting acceptance in our town, and nobody is ever left behind. And the response that we have received from the town has just been unbelievable.
You're selling East Greenwich and your school like Disney World right now. It sounds like a paradise.
You know what? It's the type of thing. I've been teaching there for 19 years, and actually 3 years ago, I moved there because I wanted my daughters, one of which is in 6th grade, and my other daughter is in 9th grade. I wanted them to go through this school system.
That's awesome.
And I've given my life there. 19 years ago was my first job I ever received out of college, and it's the place I'm going to be.
All right. That's amazing. So even though you're in East Greenwich, I hear you have connection with North Smithfield High. So how is North Smithfield High involved with the Special Olympics outside the school?
Well, it's just other programs that they're running. Mm-hmm. Obviously they're involved with unified basketball, and they're also involved with unified volleyball up at the high school level. Other involvements that are out there. For example, the plunge. North Smithfield had a big group of kids that were down there to jump into the ocean. That crazy freezing day, and we've done that before. We've been down there where we've jumped in, and really you think about it when you. As an adult, I'm like, I can't believe I'm going to be jumping in this water. But then you see all the energy that's coming from the middle school and the high school kids, and you're like, if they're going to do it, I'm going to do it. So what happens is it doesn't matter if we're just at Cole, or if we're at North Smithfield High School or East Greenwich High School. We're one big unified family in the state, and that and it's one of the benefits of being such a small state, where we know everybody in every single corner of the state. So. Many times if somebody was just walking in to go to a volleyball game or to go to a unified basketball game, they probably wouldn't know who the home team was, because everybody's cheering for each other. It doesn't, with all the fans in the stands, and that's one of the things that we really promote at Cole. If you're going to go watch one of our games, you're cheering for Cole, and you're also cheering for whoever we're playing.
All right, sounds good. So what advice do you have to any schools or anyone who want to become fully inclusive?
I'm going to give that to Allie.
All right.
So,
All right.
So the advice I would give is to make the student body aware of inclusion and just how simple it is to do. It can be as easy as saying hello to someone in the hallway, to sing with someone new at lunch. Every little act of inclusion that someone does not only impacts their life, but it also impacts that school's environment. It'll help them make a more inclusive school.
All right, you guys officially sold me. Yeah. I'm moving to East Greenwich.
And I can't top what you just said. Because as a teacher, or as the coach of both unified sports, I can have a vision of how I want our school to be, but I could never have that vision actually come to reality if it wasn't for students and somebody like Allie, who's just absolutely amazing, not only with our Best Buddies program, but also with our unified sports program. And her little sister is involved too, as a 7th grader, and she's just kind of, she's kind of taking over in some areas where Allie, when she moves on, when I lose her next year, when she moves on to the high school, but somebody like Allie is just going to make the program stronger at the high school. So with how things are beginning to evolve down at the elementary schools, how Inclusion Revolution and how we're starting to get some of the friendship clubs down there, and then they move through Cole, and then they move into the high school. So really we're looking at that K-12 piece.
All right. That's awesome. I can't wait to see what you guys do in the future. It's going to be something amazing. I know that, no doubt. Guys, it's been a pleasure today. It's been a pleasure having you. Answers are beautiful, and I really, really, really can't wait to see the good that you do in the high school. All right? So here with me now, Allison Cazmier, Adam Scott. My name is Wesley De La Rosa, and thank you.
Welcome back. Joining us now is Hannah Flynn from Cranston West, a student athlete for the Unified Champion Schools program. Hannah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
All right. So I hear that next week that Cranston West is officially going to become a national banner for the Unified Champion Schools program. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. We're so excited.
Do you mind explaining a little bit more about how the honor means to you in the school?
This honor means absolutely the world to me, just because I've been there since the beginning. Our unified programs really have boosted in the last year, and I'm so glad to see that we've become a banner school just because of the importance that it holds as being a school that every single day you can walk in, you can find someone to sit with, you can walk in, you can find someone if you ever needed anything, just to be like, oh, like, I don't know where I'm going. Everybody will just be like, okay, well, you're going here, or just take you there. Like things like that, just those simple, sweet things make all the difference.
Okay. To go off from that a little bit, why would you say that inclusion is important to you the most?
Inclusion is important to me for several reasons. Personally, I think inclusion isn't just like a right. I think it's something that is so important because it offers equal opportunities to everybody, and it's that same access that everybody can have. So like the same access to play sports, and that's like what Unified Champion Schools provides. So it's super important also because my brother is on the spectrum of the autism. So I want to make sure that when he comes to high school, there's a place for him.
Okay. So with the unified sports, do you know which unified sports are specifically going to be offered at Cranston West?
Yes. So we offer basketball and volleyball. Those are our two biggest ones because they're our only ones. But we did just win Division II championships this year for volleyball, which was super exciting.
Okay, that sounds really nice. So how is Cranston West being involved with inclusion, with youth leadership, and whole school engagement?
So there have been a lot of changes in our school regarding inclusion. We just started our Best Buddies chapter last year, so it's been a full force ride to where we are, just because it would usually take quite a longer time, but we've really put emphasis and focus on our Best Buddies clubs, our Unified Falcons clubs, and our whole school is really becoming engaged into being an inclusive school. Like, it doesn't come with like a reminder anymore. It's just you walk in and everybody's there and you accept them for who they are, and it's the most beautiful thing you could say, really. It's just wonderful.
That's nice. So with how I mentioned earlier, next week you were going to be celebrating the national banner officially happening. Do you know as of yet as to how Cranston West is going to celebrate?
Yes. So next Friday, April 26th, I believe, we are having our Unified Banner School celebration, and it's going to happen outside on the football fields. We're going to have a bunch of guest speakers, which is really exciting. Our band is going to be playing, and we're going to highlight stories from a bunch of different alumni who were in our unified sports programs, as well as ones who are in it now. And then we're going to put the banner over one of our big rocks, and it's kind of like a staple of Cranston West. You see that rock and you kind of know. And when we pull it down, it's going to have our big banner reveal, and we're all going to play the Cranston West Falcon fighting song, I believe, and celebrate.
That sounds awesome. So how would you say that Cranston West is... Oh, sorry, completely skipped over a question.
That's all right.
So how would you say that Cranston West is going to be involved with fundraising for the Unified Champion Schools program?
So what we have done so far is we've been selling t-shirts for our Unified event, which go back to us. We've also been helping out with the plunge we helped out with the plunge, and we brought a bunch of kids to come in and plunge, which is like a 50-50 split, so it goes both to Unified Champion Schools programs and back to ours, which has helped a lot. So our main modes of fundraising is really through selling, especially since it's like a high school environment. A bunch of kids are usually ready to like buy things that like will help out their school, which is really nice, so we've been using that.
Okay. So how would you say that Cranston West is involved with the Special Olympics outside the school program?
Outside of the school program, we have me and my friend Will Darcy help out. Oh, did I just?
Oh, no, it's okay.
Me and my friend Will Darcy are part of the Youth Activation Committee for Special Olympics. So we go to meetings like every other Tuesday, and we come back and we like report our findings to West, and we try and work in things together. So like we'll send a whole agenda to our administrators, and we'll go from there and try to better our school through what they're telling us. So it's a good process because it helps us make sure that we're doing everything we can.
Okay. So final question. So what advice would you give to other schools that are soon also, just like Cranston West, are going to become fully inclusive with the Unified Champion Schools program?
Honestly, to realize the true meaning of inclusion. And it's not just to say like, just like, can I restart? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
It's like to make sure that inclusion isn't just like a one-time thing, and to keep going. Consistency is 100% the key to making sure that your school is fully inclusive, and trying in every aspect you can. So trying to get more people to come to your Unified Games, trying to promote messages of Special Olympics through our like Spread the Word to End the Word campaigns, making sure that that's well known to both parents and students, so that you get the most support you can, because it truly is important. And that's really great.
All right. Thank you for that, Hannah. I appreciate you coming here today. My name is Nick Sabetta, and this has been Unifying Youth Throw Sports.